YouTube, what is going on? So obviously, I'm sure some of you have seen this. I mean, heck, it's got 1.1 million views. But Pokey made a fun tweet and about if you had an option to pick a 5-star character. This is a couple days ago, almost a week ago. I just thought it was funny, and it got me thinking about, while it would be really fun and cool to be able to select one of these characters, but realistically, what should we be thinking about? And that is who and how the next NovaFlare buffed characters are going to look. So this was posted about 3 months ago, and obviously you can see right here, Sunday, Topaz, Xiaoqiu, and Argenti are supposedly going to be the next batch of NovaFlare buffed characters. And just because the Acheron video did so well, why not we go one by one with all of these characters, understand what they currently do now, and how a NovaFlare buff can fix not only them, but their own individual light cone. And so the first character that we will actually be discussing, if I can find him, is actually going to be Sunday. And I mean, to be completely frank and honest, he's one of my favorite characters in the game. I mean, I use him quite a bit. So let's go ahead and discuss what he currently does right now. We'll look at his base kit, his eidolons, his light cones, and then go over what can possibly change and how to improve him. Like I said, much similar to how I did with Acheron. So ignoring the basic attack, because that doesn't mean anything with Sunday, to be completely frank and honest. The skill enables one designated ally character and their summon to immediately take action. It increases their damage dealt by 30%. If the target has a summon, then the damage bonus effect is further boosted by an additional 50% lasting for 2 turns. So if you have a summon, then obviously the total damage dealt boost increase will be increased by a total of 80% lasting for 2 turns. After using a skill on the Beautified, recovers 1 skill point, and when Sunday uses this ability on characters following the Path of Harmony, cannot trigger the immediate action effect. I mean, that's makes sense. The ultimate regenerates energy by 20% of max energy for one designated ally target and turns the character and their summon into the Beautified. The Beautified have their crit damage increased by an amount equal to 30% of Sunday's crit damage plus 12%. At the start of Sunday's every turn, the duration of the Beautified decreases by 1 turn, lasting a total of 3 turns, and it only takes effect on the most recent target of the ultimate, excluding Sunday himself. When Sunday is knocked down, the Beautified is dispelled. The talent, very easy to read right here. When using skill, increases the target's crit rate by 20%, lasting for 3 turns. So we can see, well, actually, let's go over the traces first. When using the ultimate, if the energy regenerated for the target is less than 40, increases the energy regenerated to 40. Okay. When battle starts, Sunday regenerates 25 energy, and then when using a skill, debuffs 1 debuff from the target. So Sunday does a lot. He's able to boost up somebody's crit damage, which is very nice. The receiver of that skill will also have their crit rate increased by 20%. And the ultimate, he's able to generate 20% of the maxed energy for the character with the Beautified state. And obviously the character with the Beautified state from the ultimate has, you know, their total crit damage increased by roughly, I mean, theoretically it's roughly 42%, but honestly it just strictly depends on your Sunday's crit damage. So what exactly can we fix just with the base inherent kit? Well, the first thing, honestly, I personally would change is the Exalted Sweep. When battle starts, Sunday regenerates 25 energy. I would probably make this a percentage. I would most likely make this 20% energy. And then also have the talent. I definitely think the talent is a little too weak in a sense. Crit rate increase for 3 turns is very nice, especially when it is focused around the skill, which I have already said is very good, being able to increase damage dealt as well, which this in of itself has a issue all inherently. But I definitely think that the crit rate needs to be increased, to be completely frank. If you increase it just to 25% for the most likely the duration of, 3 turns is, you know what, we'll just do that. Increase the crit rate increase from 20 to 25% lasting for 3 turns. I think is very fair. I would take out this aspect of the skill, and I'm not saying just take it out and don't put anything in it. What I mean is take this out, the stipulation, and just make it so the ally and their memo sprite, their summon, if they have one, boom, an 80% damage increase for 2 turns. I think that is very fair for Sunday. You also have SP generation right here. Whenever you are capable of using the skill on the beautified ally, I think maybe take that out and just have, whenever the skill is used, regenerate 1 SP, just making Sunday very SP neutral. I think that is very beneficial and good. Obviously, a lot of the characters now, especially if we're talking about elation mechanics wise, the SP generation and consumption isn't necessarily a huge problem, outside of Sparksy, obviously. But I say make that 80% flat for a character with the beautified state, or just for a character in general. And then if they have the beautified state, I think maybe it further increase that by 10%. So you're looking at roughly a 90% damage increase. I think that is very good for Sunday. Moving over to the ultimate. The ultimate, quite frankly, I think the only thing that you can really change is just increase the max energy generation. It's from 20 to 25-30%. I think that is very, very plausible. It makes a lot of sense. The additional crit damage provided, I think that is very fair. It rewards players who want a high crit damage Sunday, allowing the increase overall. That's probably, right here, when using the ultimate, if the energy regenerated for the target is less than 40, increase the regenerated energy by 40. I think that's poorly written. Just have it just increase a flat 80 or 40 no matter what. I think that is very fair. And then dispelling a debuff, I think you should just dispel all debuffs on the selected target of the skill. I think that is pretty fair all in itself. E1 is when Sunday uses a skill, the target character can ignore 16% of the enemy target's defense, and their summon can ignore 40% of the enemy target's defense. You can actually just take this, take the E1, and slot it right here for the traces. And I mean, based off of everything else I said, I think Sunday is like a top tier support at that point. You just take the E1, you put it in the base kit. E2, after first use of the ultimate, recovers 2 skill points, and the damage dealt by the beautified further increases by 30%. I think you can keep that. You take the SP aspect of it by the character with the beautified state in conjunction with the skill. That limitation about the skill point generation, I think that's very fair for both of these. E4, when the turn starts, regenerates 8 energy. I think this needs to be, well, actually for an E4, I think that's pretty fair. Maybe bump the 8 up to a 12, and it's pretty fair. E6, the talent's crit rate boost effect becomes stackable up to 3 times. Okay, and the talent's duration increases by 1 turn. That's fair. When Sunday uses the ultimate, can also apply the, so I think E1 needs to be put in his base kit. and E4 from 8 to 12. I think that is a very fair stipulation. Moving over to the light cone, we can see here is that after the wearer uses a skill or ultimate on one allied target, the wearer regenerates 6 energy, and the ability's target receives 1 stack of him for 3 turns, up to 3 times, and for each stack increases the holder's damage dealt by 15%. After 2 instances of skill or ultimate the wearer uses on one allied target recovers 1 skill points. The only thing I think of here is just increase the energy generation numbers from 6 to 8, you know, by 2, and then so that'd be what, 8.5, then that'd be 9, 9.5, and then 10. I think that's pretty fair. Outside of that, I don't really think you can. I think it's fine. Sunday's an interesting character, and it's funny, based out of all of these characters, he's the one I think you can maybe leave alone for a little bit longer. In comparison to Topaz, Zhaoqiu, and Argenti, those 3 characters I definitely think need reworks. Sunday at this point, he's still very good, and the fact that he slots into a Himiko Nova team I think makes him very valuable and very strong. Yeah, it's just minor changes I would provide to him based off of what I said that I think would bring him back up to not only relevant with Himiko Nova, but just relevant in of itself. With the release of Robin, you can have her and Sunday in conjunction with someone like Aglaya, if you will, or other real solo DPS characters. You make these changes and Sunday becomes very valuable and very strong. Finon comes to mind, even heck, Anoxa, if you will. But yeah, that's gonna be all for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think about what I have to say, and I'll see you in the next video.